This is Locked On Bets, the daily betting show that means business from the Locked On Podcast Network. Hosted by Lee Sterling and Kevin Rogers, they're dropping fearless picks with an inside edge to put money in your pocket. If there's action, they've got the lock. This is where smart bets start. It's Locked On Bets.
Welcome to the Thursday edition of Locked On Bets. Kevin Rogers and Lee Sterling of Paramount Sports with you as we venture into week 8 of the NFL. Vikings visiting the Chargers in LA. We have a player prop in that game coming up to talk about. Also, a game for Sunday in the NFL, the lock. College football in the SEC, a lock. NHL. But firstly, we begin with the NBA and wrong team favorite.
What the fuck? WTF.
Only 2 teams have not taken the court yet this season. The Indiana Pacers, who host Oklahoma City tonight in an NBA Finals rematch. Then the second game of the ESPN doubleheader, Nuggets and the Warriors. Denver taking the court for the first time. Warriors beat the Lakers back on opening night. Now the Nuggets with Nikola Jokic. And they look to knock off Golden State on the road. Warriors a short favorite here at home. Lee, what do you like in this one?
All right, so this is the greatest thing about gambling. One night you can be all over one team, which we were, Golden State Warriors 2 nights ago. And the next night or 2 nights later, you're going against them. And I've confused some of my friends, my wife. My wife sometimes walks in and say, why are you rooting against this team when you were rooting for them last night? I said, well, things change. It's about matchups here. So, and this is one of them here. So this is a strong spot here for the Nuggets. The Warriors were a great play the other night against the Lakers. Thought the Lakers were going to be slow starting. Didn't understand their lineup. They don't have much talent, especially without LeBron. And this is about a matchup here. The Warriors did finally part ways with Kevon Looney in the offseason. Took away their biggest body on the inside. May not hurt them against some teams, but it's going to hurt them in this game here. They're going to start Draymond Green, Jonathan Butler, and Kuminga in the front court here, and I think it's going to be a problem. They're probably going to bring in veteran Al Horford, but Al Horford has not fared well against this lineup. So the Joker is going to dominate here. I like the addition of Cameron Johnson. I actually think he's an overall better player than Michael Porter Jr. Michael Porter Jr. would give you 4 points one night and 24 the next. You never knew what you're going to get out of this guy. Also not real good as far as other than set shotting off the dribble here. So going to be a problem here, I think, for the Warriors here. I know they're at home. I'm going to take the 2 points here. I think the Nuggets get the win and the cover. It's going to be my wrong team favored right out of the gate on Thursday.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one. I mean, Golden State, that's as well as they could have played against the Lakers, considering the circumstances. Now, you're stepping up playing a much better team. Simple as that, even though they're back at home. But Denver should be pretty fresh playing their first game of the season. So taking a look back at last night, Lee, we had a full slate in the NBA. My selection was a winner, the Hornets over the Nets, and that was kind of more of a fate of Brooklyn. There's not a good team, and Charlotte torched them for 77 in the first half and kind of cruised from there. So that was a good one to get. Lost on the Cavaliers. They fell behind early to the Knicks. They made a comeback. They tied it in the second half, but New York ended up pulling away. So we go 1-1 in the NBA. So I guess your thoughts on those games, and also anything else you saw in the first full slate of the NBA season.
Well, great pick by you there. So I thought you nailed it. Wire-to-wire winner. Like I said, I just couldn't get over them. If they had gotten maybe a 3-4 point lead, might have put in the pressure on the Knicks, but just wasn't their night. Couldn't get a key shot to fall or a good defensive stand when they needed to in the late third, early fourth. And team I was impressed with was Toronto. Toronto, under the radar, has put together a much better roster this year. So as long as they can avoid injury, and Atlanta, same old thing. They don't play any defense. So it's great to score, but if you can't stop anyone, you're not going to be a top-level team. Through all this scoring, and the league obviously has changed, if you can't play a stick of defense, You're not going anywhere in the playoffs. So Atlanta, they have more talent. You look at their roster, it looks like a better roster in name and name only, and also looking at scoring averages, but you got to factor in defense.
How about this, Lee? Looking back at last night, out of all the games, 2 teams in the entire league scored less than 111, and that was the Clippers at 108 and the Mavs at 92. Like, the scoring was unreal last night, and in a lot of these games, just seeing a lot of overs fly in. And you saw the fourth quarter of the Sixers Celtics, they combined for 72 points to go over. Just some insane numbers during the big opening night.
Yeah, a little surprising too, because remember, almost all these teams did not play their players, or very, very limited limits their starters in the last preseason game. So, in the NFL, we've seen, the first week, usually the scoring is down a little bit, then it picks up. It was a little surprising how much scoring took place opening night. So, just happens sometimes. And these guys are so skilled now. The guys don't work on offense enough. I'll never forget playing high school basketball. I was a backup point guard. And for the first 3 days, we're working on defense. And our coach was having us do all these different defensive principles. He's putting in the defense. And coach says, any questions? One guy raises his hand. He says, when are we going to start shooting the basketball, play offense? So totally changed. Everyone works on their offense now. Defense seems like is optional in the NBA.
Victor Wembanyama, 40 points and 15 rebounds in their win at Dallas, and Cooper Flagg had 10 points and 10 points and 10 rebounds. He was minus 29 last night, Cooper Flagg.
Wow.
So they got a ways to go. We know he's got a ways to go. But Wembanyama, that was very impressive by him.
The question is, does he stay healthy? When you're that big, that tall. I mean, I think I read a story sometime where he needs to sleep like 11, 12 hours a night. So maybe he's still growing.
Yeah, I need to do that too. So I'm not growing, but I still need to sleep that long, but I'm not doing that. Now take a look at
you're Rip Van Winkle. So it just a guy that big and he's bound to get injured. I mean, it's just. I mean, I would have taken him first also, but if you think you're winning multiple championships with him, I think they'll be lucky to win one.
Maybe they'll be lucky if they even get to the second round. I think probably in that tough Western Conference. The other games last night we had. I know that you took the showdown in Conference USA, Delaware, Middle Tennessee State, the under in that one, and some bad luck there for you. Game ends up going over the total, and a couple situations in the game where you thought you had it, but then these teams exploded.
Yeah, I mean, they're up by 10. Delaware's, and of course, backdoor touchdown. Let a team go, the whole distance of the field, just sitting there playing off. And I mean, getting the 15, 20-yard gains, with 2 minutes to go in the game didn't impact the game at all. But I understand why they do it. But, you got to play a little bit tougher defenses. I probably lost 8 or 10 games this year, backdoor touchdowns on totals and games when teams I'm laying, laying anywhere between 3.5 to 7.5 points or a total. So, little frustrating sometimes. Probably had the right side, just didn't work out so well for me.
But you did hit on the Detroit Buffalo under. It was 6.5. It got a little dicey, but you had a scoreless first period. You're like, okay, we're on easy street, and then 4 goals in the second. You're like, whoa, slow down a little bit. But then Buffalo ended up holding on for the 4-2 win and stayed under.
Yep, their defense much improved. Didn't expect them to score 4 goals. Thought it'd be probably 3 or 2. So. Winner's a winner, and like I said, you have to spot teams that are improving, and sometimes teams go from one style of play to a different style of play, and we took advantage of it.
All right, coming up, we're going to really spread it out. We have an NHL blowout. We have a couple NFL plays. We're going to hit on Vikings-Chargers for tonight. Also, a Saturday lock in college football. Looking forward to Lee's analysis on that SEC game and a lot more. Very busy Thursday show here as we roll on another edition of Locked On Bets. Time now to talk about FanDuel. And, of course, NFL season, it's underway. We're headed to Week 8 already, and FanDuel has an offer you don't want to miss. Right now, new customers can bet just $5 and get $300 in bonus bets if you win. That's right. Pick a bet, put down $5, and if it hits, you'll unlock $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. And what can you bet on? So many choices. Vikings Chargers kicking off week 8 in the NFL tonight out in LA. Justin Herbert is the leader in passing yards in the NFL. You could look at his passing yard prop as an option. Justin Jefferson of the Vikings, his receiving yard option or prop option. You have so many choices in this game. And then you want to take the side, you want to take the total, the money line. You can do that too. Also, look at week 8 on Sunday, all the big matchups there. If you want to find some player props or sides or totals to go on, or even you want to go the award route, go long term and look at the MVP, Patrick Mahomes of the Chiefs. He's the favorite right now at FanDuel to win the most valuable player award in the NFL. Also, Super Bowl favorites, Chiefs up there, Bills, Eagles, Packers, all those teams, the Lions, so many of those teams up there. You can grab them right now before those odds drop moving forward in the season. So what are you waiting for? So many things going on at FanDuel. You can visit FanDuel.com now to download the FanDuel app today and get started. We continue Locked On Bets here on a Thursday. Kevin Rogers and Lee Sterling of Paramount Sports. And we go to the NHL. Very busy night coming up this evening. Had some low-scoring games last night. We'll see if that changes coming up tonight with our blowout special.
Oh, boy. Last one out. Turn off the lights. This one's a blowout.
We will see goals in this Blackhawks Lightning game coming up this evening at 6:45 Eastern in Tampa. And the total 6.5, and you get plus money on that. But I still believe that we're going to get a lot of goals. Now, Lightning are back from a road trip. They lost the final 3, lost every game by a goal. And the offense really didn't do much in the last few games. I think it was 5 goals in the last 3 games. But at home, this Lightning team has done extremely well, at least scoring. I know they're 0-2 at home. But against Ottawa, they put up 4 goals in their opening game before losing to them. They scored 3 goals against the Devils. So they have put up goals in these first few games, but also they've allowed 5 goals in each of the first 2 losses to Ottawa and New Jersey. So a lot of high-scoring games there. 2 overs already have hit so far in those games. For Chicago, they're hitting the road after playing 2 low-scoring games at home against Vancouver and Anaheim. They scored 2 goals in each of those games, but the key is, Lee, they had at least 30 shots on goal in each of those games, so they're starting to attack the net a little bit more. And 5 of the past 6 games for Tampa, they've allowed 30 shots on goal. So Tampa Bay has not been great defensively. They've scored at home. I think we get the goals here. 6.5 seems like a high total, but I think they'll hit it. I think we can see 7 or 8 goals coming up in Tampa tonight between the Blackhawks and the Lightning.
Wow. I can't remember the last time you had an over in hockey. So you must really love it. If you love it, I'm hopping on board, riding that train. So when you see an over, you usually hit it. So let's knock it down tonight.
All right, so we'll see if that happens. A lot of big games in the NHL tonight. Carolina, Colorado, also a pretty good game as those teams hooking up in Denver. Now we shift over to the NFL, the Vikings and the Chargers as they meet in LA. It's time now for our Hidden Gem.
To find a diamond in the rough, you need to dig a little deeper for those hidden gems.
So, Minnesota heads out to L.A. Both teams off a home loss last week. Vikings fell to the Eagles, and the Chargers, they just were obliterated at home by the Colts. I don't know what happened with them. I still maintain it was the yellow uniforms, that they need to get rid of those. Those just were ugly. Those didn't work. And the Chargers have the best uniforms in the league, but that one was kind of a swing and a miss. Yeah. So, T.J. Hockenson...
I agree with you.
It was just gross.
I turned it on, and I love the Chargers uniforms. I mean, I grew up in the late 60s going to their games, and when they came to Miami, and loved them, fell in love with the uniforms, fell in love with Lance Allworth in particular. But that was the first biggest miss I've ever seen for the Chargers, who have about 12 different great combinations. Hopefully they never bring that back. It's like looking at mustard for 3.5 hours on a screen.
It was terrible, and they didn't play. What they say. What is it? If you look good, you feel good. Was it the Men's Warehouse commercials? It just didn't. No, you didn't look good, so you didn't feel good. That's what happened. Yeah. So All right, so TJ Hockenson of the Vikings, their big tight end. What do you like with his receptions tonight? He still has Carson Wentz delivering the ball, no J.J. McCarthy. So what do you like with Hockenson and his total?
All right, so what did Detroit do? They felt that there was someone in the draft a couple of years ago and who was going to be a better tight end than TJ Hockenson, so they traded him in division to the Vikings. Now, I think Hockenson is good, but when you're paired with receivers like Addison and Jefferson, pretty tough to get your fill of catches. So the Chargers also have been fantastic covering tight ends. Why? I think they have the best strong safety in the game, Derwin James. 6'2", 215 out of your Florida State Seminoles. Big, strong, fast. Once in a while, he'll get a pass interference call, but he's one of the few strong safeties that can body up and can limit, can't stop tight ends, but can limit tight ends. So he's one of these guys that can really limit guys as far as intermediate routes. And that's what TJ Hockenson likes to do. So for Wentz here, for Carson Wentz, he's going to be looking for his top two guys on the outside, Addison and Jefferson, for a bulk of their targets. And I just don't see Hockenson getting a ton of targets and receptions in this game. So some other games I might be going for him, but in this game, I think the number's off by probably a full reception. This line should be 3.5, not 4.5. So we're going to go under 4.5 receptions here. TJ Hockenson in their game tonight against the LA Chargers. It's going to be my hidden gem.
Yeah, we'll see on the Chargers side how Justin Herbert fares. He had a career high in passing yards last game, but also a lot of that came when the Colts were in front and the Chargers fell behind. The Chargers, we know, have no running games. All the running backs are hurt. So last year, the argument was with Jim Harbaugh that Herbert's not throwing the ball as much. They're going to be running it more. And now they're out of running backs. Now Herbert's throwing it more just because of circumstance. So we'll see if that's the case coming up tonight when the Vikings and Chargers meet to start week 8 of the NFL. Coming up, we have 2 locks, not just one. We have 2 locks we're looking forward to for the weekend, for Saturday, for college football, Sunday in the NFL. That is straight ahead right here on Locked On Bets. Locked On Bets continues here on a Thursday. Kevin Rogers and Lee Sterling of Paramount Sports. And now we go to college football. Big one in the SEC, Oklahoma and Ole Miss. And that will be our first lock of the day.
Open it, open it, open it. Lee has the key to the lock of the day.
Noon kickoff coming up on Saturday, 11 a.m. out in Oklahoma, but 6-1 OU, 6-1 Ole Miss. The Sooners a 5.5-point favorite here at home against the Rebels off that tough loss to Georgia that almost led. They were doing all right in that game, and then Georgia pulled away. So we'll see how Lane Kiffin's team responds here. And Lee, what do you like with the Sooners and the Rebels?
Yeah, I think they were up, I believe, by 9 points with like 4 minutes to go in the third and never scored again. The defense for Ole Miss, which always been their kind of bugaboo, let them down. Georgia, who I think is just an average offense this year. They don't have any running backs, receivers that scare you. Gunnar Stockton has a lot of heart, but doubt he's going to be anything more than like a third-string quarterback in the NFL. They exposed him. Second half, kept him on the field for the game for 80 plays. That's a lot. And Georgia scored on every single possession in the second half. So now they got to go on the road here again and got to travel to Oklahoma for an early start. So I think Oklahoma has the best defense in the SEC. So you got a home team, best defense, and an even better quarterback. I think John Mateer, top 5, top 6 quarterback, college football, running, throwing the football, much better than Gunnar Stockton. So finally also healed, it looks like. Looked much better against South Carolina last week after struggling against Texas, coming back, I think it was like 16, 17 days after his hand operation. So I think he's going to do some damage against his secondary. And, you know, people are figuring out Ole Miss a little bit here. Love Lane Kiffin as a head coach. Love his talking points, love the smack he talks. But bottom line is Oklahoma has the better team, better defense, better quarterback. I'm laying the 4.5 here. It's going to be a level 1 lock on Thursday.
Yeah, and very interesting game. You got a lot of good games in the SEC coming up this week, and that one will start things off coming up on that slate in Norman. Now we go to Sunday's action, and in the NFL, the Ravens and the Bears, and Baltimore looks like they'll be getting Lamar Jackson back at quarterback after missing a few games. So now, Lee, it's time for our second lock of the day.
Open it, open it, open it! Lee has the key to the lock of the day.
The Baltimore Ravens, they have been the number one disaster in the NFL. I think worse than the Jets because you expect more out of them. You expect nothing out of the Jets. So the Ravens will get Lamar Jackson back, it looks like, this week. They host the Chicago Bears, and the Bears have won 4 straight after an 0-2 start. And the Ravens favored here at home. And Lee, what do you like in this one with the Ravens and the Bears in Baltimore?
All right. Last 3 games between these two teams have been all decided by a field goal. Now, Lamar Jackson's coming back. Love Lamar Jackson. He will certainly help their offense, which has been painful to watch. But what's going to help the defense? They're not all of a sudden going to be this vaunted unit. So I believe that Chicago's Ben Johnson coming as head coach has been huge for this team. Taught the offensive line here how to block. Obviously, they had 3 nice acquisitions on the offensive line, so they have veteran leadership there. Giving Williams a little bit more time to throw has been paramount. Also, just designing better plays and also confidence. Just felt that the team was rudderless last year. They won 4 straight games. They don't have to win this game. Getting 6.5 points. How many games in the NFL are won by 2, 3, 4, 6 points? I mean, more than half of them. So I just think that this is a great situational play. And Ravens at home, coming off of a bye. How have teams done coming off of a bye? Well, since 2011, teams are 111, 140, and 9. If you do the math, it comes out to 44.2%. You're backing teams just coming off a bye. It is a losing proposition. So I think that the Chicago team is going to run the ball enough here against the Ravens. Play action will be good. They have 3 or 4 really good receivers, 2 super tight ends. Think that Andrews, the tight end for Baltimore, may be getting a little long in the tooth here. So I'm going to take the Bears here till Baltimore shows me something on offense and defense that they're close to back to normal. This line should be 3.5 points, not 6.5 points. You might even find some 7s out there. Chicago Bears plus the points here. I have them winning this game outright. So maybe play half your money or 3/4 on the Bears plus the points and maybe sprinkle a little money line on the Bears to win 5 in a row here. It's going to be a level 2 lock here. Chicago plus the points against Baltimore on Sunday.
And when you look at it, really, Chicago's had one poor effort. They came at Detroit in a really bad spot in week 2. Lions off that, lost to the Packers. Chicago had Minnesota beat in week 1. They had them beat in that Monday night game, and they fell apart in the 4th quarter. So Ben Johnson definitely turning the corner with this Bears team. And John Harbaugh, this Ravens team, they need to win desperately. They lose this one, like you can close the book on this season. They win, maybe they kind of get back on track, but they lose. There's no way they're coming back up from this deficit. All right, Lee. So what's going on? Paramount Sports, you've been red hot on Sundays in the NFL, 23-2, right? The last 5 Sundays, and college football resuming this weekend.
Yep, look to keep it going here. No one hotter in the world on Sundays, 23-2 the last 5 Sundays, 5-0, 5-0, 5-0. Then I let everyone down the last 2 weeks going 4-1 and 4-1. You want to hop on board. It's called Lee NFL Sunday Golden Ticket. 4 weeks of games on Sundays only. 5 selections every single Sunday. These are the games I'm personally playing. Like I said, we're on a 23-2 run that's mind-numbing. No one in the country can match that record, and it is fully documented. So you want to hop on board, $197 for 4 weeks of my NFL games. ParamountSports.com. We got the World Series coming up starting tomorrow. We will have a selection there. So Make sure you check in here tomorrow. We'll have something brewing there. A slew of other college and NFL games we're going to break down and predict. The UFC got 5 huge selections for the card from Abu Dhabi starting at 10 a.m. Eastern on Saturday. So don't be late to the party. Those games are up and available. And one of the 5 selections is a very rare, biggest unit we have, a 50-unit max wager. So we're 25-12, I believe, on those over the last almost 2 years on these 40 to 50-unit plays, and the 50-unit plays are even better than that. So everything's up and available. Just one place, ParamountSports.com.
And don't forget to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel, Locked On Bets, as well as the podcast edition on Spotify and Apple and Locked On Bets. You can find Lee on X at Paramount Sports, myself at Rogers Picks. We'll be back with you coming up on Friday. Plenty of football going into the weekend for that show. Looking forward to that. For Lee Sterling, I am Kevin Rogers. Thank you so much for tuning in to another edition of Locked On Bets right here on the Locked On Podcast Network.